Hey everyone, it's David with davidspassage.com. I'm up here in the Manistee National Forest near Wellston, Michigan, getting ready to do a day trip down the Pine River. Last night my wife and I stayed just outside of the Pine River corridor in the Huron Manistee National Forest and just kind of dispersed camped with our hammocks, which was a lot of fun. It was great just to be able to sit. It was so calm, so peaceful. It was nice. But today we're getting ready to do a paddle down the Pine River, one of the faster rivers in lower Michigan, and I thought what I would do is go over my kayak, my paddle kit with you. I've done this river before. The last time I did it, it was in flood stage, and I had a very bad experience because it was cold. It was in mid-late September. It was cold. It was raining all day long, and my partner that was with me had an accident and accidentally tipped, and we were almost hypothermic, and so it was crazy. So my kit mentality for paddling has changed drastically, especially after being at the Pathfinder Basic class this last May. And so I thought I'd take you along with my kit for paddling the Pine River today. First thing that's going in my pack today is this emergency tarp shelter. It's got a aluminized backside to it so that I can throw it on if I get wet, need to be warmed. Last time I was on this river, I was borderline hypothermic because of just an accident that took place, and so I want to avoid that if possible. Next thing up is my PFD. It's required in the state of Michigan that when you're boating you have a PFD available in the boat. You don't have to wear it, but you do have to have it. Next up is this. This is my Pathfinder 32-ounce water bottle, stainless steel cup, lid, and it's in a little mesh bag that holds my water, or one of my waters rather. We're going to be doing about a 5.5 to 6 hour paddle today, and so I want to make sure I have plenty of water. And what's nice about this is if I need to get water out of the river and boil it, I can do that. You know, I've got a cup for coffee or whatever if I decide to stop for lunch and want to make a brew up real quick that way. Next up, toilet paper, biodegradable toilet paper. Don't usually need that, and that's more for the wife. So next up, I have a little first aid kit in a freezer bag. You know, I'm not a big first aid kitter. A lot of people go overboard on first aid, to be honest, but it has stuff in here like Tylenol and Imodium, antiseptic wipes, just kind of a standard first aid kit I take with me anywhere, especially if I'm taking anybody with me somewhere. Again, I don't usually need this, but you never know for headaches and whatnot. Next thing is just a little mini fish kit. You know, I've got some hooks, a bobber, some weights, and that sort of thing. Just a mini hand fishing kit if I want to use that, and just a little matchstick container. Next thing that goes in the paddle pack is just some insect repellent. It's just a little small 12-hour pack I can keep. I only put that on if I start seeing mosquitoes and start encountering those. Next thing that's going in is my food bag. This is our lunch for the day and a couple extra items. Next thing I'm bringing is my pack towel. I did a review of this little thing a while back, but this is just a very ultra small, ultra light, very absorbent towel that'll go in there in case we do take a spill. We can wipe off and get dried up as quickly as possible. The next two items I'm bringing kind of go hand in hand. This is an empty Brisk tea bottle. And the reason why I'm going to use it, I'm going to fill it up before I head the river, but the reason why I say these two items go hand in hand is because this bottle goes with this water filter. This is a filter I picked up before I went to Kenya. It works wonderfully. Highly recommend it. But in case I get in a situation where I need more water, I don't need to boil the water. I could fill this up and drink it right out of the river. Now, before I fill this up with water, of course, I pre-filter it. But next item I'm going to have kit with me is a schmock. The reason why I have this is just because it's a little chilly, and it's really versatile for using as a scarf, for other head covering, drying things off as well. You can use it, and filtering water and whatnot. So next item, 50-gallon drum liner. Why would I have a 50-gallon drum liner? You know, the situation being someone falls out and becomes hypothermic in the water. Although it's unlikely to happen today, it can happen. You have this as a ground covering, and then the tarp as a reflective way to manage your core body temperature. Next item in my pack that's going with me today is this little Altoids tin. This is my fire kit, and in it I have a lighter, I have a couple of mini infernos, some char cloth, and some jute twine. Next item going in the pack is a Bahco Laplander. This is a folding saw. The reason why I would take that is in case I didn't need to make a fire. That's a super lightweight saw, very good quality saw. I could cut some things down, process firewood very quickly with that saw if I needed to make a fire. And next up is cordage Got about 50 feet of bank line and another 50 feet of paracord that I'll take with me. That's for setting up tarps, you know, tarp shelters, things like that nature. I've also been in a scenario where I've had to use cordage to tow somebody that needed help. So having paracord would be a much better cordage to use on a river because it floats better than bank line from what I understand, but then it also is very easy to tie knots with and to get knots undone. And again, I've had to tow people on river before to help them out, and so paracord's best thing to do the job for that. Next thing up, just a little cotton bandana. Cotton bandana is good for first aid. It's good for, you know, pre-filtering your water. You know, I could put it on my head if I wanted to use that instead of a hat. Next up, just a roll of duct tape, or actually Gorilla Tape. You know, there's just so many uses for it, and it's just very strong, very durable, and it's even flammable if I needed to use it as a fire tender. Next up here is just a spare freezer bag, and inside are 2 grocery bags. That's so that, you know, if we find any trash we want to take out of the river with us, or grocery bags I just find are incredibly helpful for things. You can just, if you're going to plop down on the ground and you want just a simple, stupid ground covering to put your butt on, just spread out the grocery bag and sit on it. You can put trash in it. You know, you can do all kinds of things with them. Another thing I'm taking is a knife. I always take a knife with me whenever I'm in the wilderness. I think you're a fool not to. It doesn't have to be something like this. I mean, just really the criteria that I would say for a knife in the woods is going to be very similar to probably what many of you have heard from the Pathfinder School. You know, I want something with about a 5-inch blade, 90-degree spine, high carbon steel. I can strike a flint off of this. You know, throw sparks really well off of my ferro rod. Full tang handle. Next thing I take with me is this Leatherman rebar. I did a review of this on another video if you want to see that. So many uses for having a multi-tool with you. Next up, this is just a little, it's an M16 mag pouch or something like that, and this has just a few basic other kinds of items, some redundancy items, some luxury items like a notebook, carpenter pencil. I also have a compass, a Suunto MG2 compass, magnifying glass. This pouch stays on my belt, and this is another Mylar reflective blanket just in case you need that. Map of the river, kind of looking ahead of time and knowing what roads are nearby if we were to get off, you know, knowing the corridor, this Pine River corridor, being able to look at this and sort of, you know, tell where we're at in the river at what time. It's going to be really handy, but really having a map of the area that you're going to be paddling is very valuable. Last thing that's going with me is my ferro rod. This is just a 1/2-inch, 5 or 6-inch ferro rod. I always have a ferro rod because that is a way of starting fire, you know, in wind, wet, you know, rainy conditions. If this gets dunked in the river, it'll still start a fire. So all of that gear gets packed away in this. This is my haversack. It's like a waterproofed duck fabric. I'm not sure if you call it tin cloth or if you call it oilcloth, but it's got a sort of a wax mixture that makes it repel water. Well, thank you so much for tagging along with me as I show you my kayak pack and the things that I put into it. If you have any questions or comments, just please let me know. I try to get to them as I'm able to, but that's my basic kit that I take with me, and it all fits in that little pack right there, that little haversack. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your comments, likes, supports, follows, tweets, Facebook, whatevers. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.